I've been living in New York, coming up on my second year now.
Cosa pensa un newyorkese dell'America?
A lot of the cities in the US, culturally, they can be very, very different.
E soprattutto, perché New York è così speciale?
This city actually encourages you to think differently, it encourages you to take a risk. New York is the only city where you do not need a car to get around.
Vinny ha poco più di 20 anni, è nato a Filadelfia, ma come molti giovani americani si è trasferito a New York, dove vive da un paio d'anni. È un content creator, oltre 600.000 followers su TikTok, dove ha inventato un format tutto particolare, ma di questo parleremo tra poco. Intanto ecco il modo imprevisto in cui ci siamo conosciuti per le strade di New York. Mentre stavo registrando poco fa si è fermato, mi ha chiesto chi ero, da dove venivo, abbiamo iniziato a parlare. In un recente video avevo spiegato come New York sia diversissima dal resto degli Stati Uniti. A volte mi sembra che i newyorkesi si sentano newyorkesi e non americani, come a volte sembri più una succursale dell'Europa che una città americana. Soho, Harlem, Brooklyn Heights, tutti luoghi che ricordano molto più Parigi e Roma che Houston o Phoenix.
I think in Europe, it's a lot easier to just walk around. Like they have really good public transportation in all of Europe. I've actually visited Italy before and the public transportation is very, very good. And I think that New York is the only city where you do not need a car to get around. The subway system is actually good enough where you can rely on it to get around. You can get from one side of the city to the other in under like an hour.
Where are you from?
I'm from outside Philadelphia, but I've also lived in Los Angeles, another big US city, and I've traveled a bunch to Florida, Miami. For me, the reason I went to so many different cities is a lot of the cities in the US are very, very different from one another. Even though they're both in the same country, culturally they can be very, very different. They can have different types of people there. So I think that for me, just by moving around so much, I've been able to interact with so many different cultures. The US is extremely diverse. And in New York, just as an example, you can get any type of food here. This is probably the best Italian food in the whole US in New York. The pizza is great here. But any other cultures. I'm Indian, there's great Indian food here. Chinese food, Korean, Japanese. A lot of cities in the US actually don't have all these types of options, but the big ones do, whether that be Chicago, LA, New York.
Le differenze tra New York e il resto degli Stati Uniti sono marcate, a volte sembra di vivere in due paesi diversi. Ho voluto chiedere a Vinny se dopo tutto lui sente di avere qualcosa in comune con, mettiamo, un ragazzo della sua età che vive per esempio in Texas.
That's a really good point because a lot of the US, like New York City, is very different than suburban like Texas. So they're completely different environments. So people in these different areas most likely will have completely different thoughts. We do have completely different hobbies. What I will say is I think I still do have similarities with someone from suburban Texas. Maybe not in viewpoints or beliefs. I'm sure that they're probably both NFL fans. We're probably both NFL fans. We're probably both NBA fans. So I think that there must be some commonalities.
C'è qualcosa di speciale a New York? La sua gente.
I think that the people in New York are the most conversational. They're the most down to earth. I actually prefer though Los Angeles. I think that Los Angeles has a good balance of nature and also city. I think that it's hard to there's not really any beaches in New York, and I'm a huge hiking person, and I don't think that there's too many options in New York, so that's the one thing I miss.
Ma quali sono oggi i problemi di New York? Come altri newyorkesi che avevamo intervistato recentemente, anche Vinny ha la stessa idea.
I'd say it's just homelessness. Some like in a lot of areas you can see homeless people, and a lot of them struggle with drug addiction. And these are really big problems, and so just figuring out ways to kind of mitigate those issues and treat better.
What do you think is the biggest struggle for your generation?
I think the biggest struggle, and maybe not New Yorkers, but just in general, the generation, it's just opening yourself up to more and more like different cultures and viewpoints. At least for me, I've traveled a bunch. I've went to Italy, I've went to different parts of Europe, London, and I've also went to Asia, Japan, Korea. And these experiences have educated me so much more than anything that I've learned in college. from a cultural level, I can understand how different cultures interact, and I think that for our generation, take risk, and try to branch out. Talk to your neighbor who you might not ever think that you would get in a conversation with, because you'll learn so much from those experiences.
Non tutti gli americani viaggiano all'estero, ma quelli che lo fanno hanno spesso un chiodo fisso, l'Italia.
I was honestly shocked by the hospitality of Italians. They're so nice. I remember we were in Rome for 3 days, and one day we had some time to spare, so we took a random trip to, I'm trying to think, it's like an hour out of Rome. It's Castel Gandolfo. Yeah, where the Pope stays, and there's like a massive lake, right? Like that town, very, very small. We had some food there. It was super home cooked, super hospitable people, super nice people, really great.
Perché New York è così speciale?
This city actually encourages you to think differently, and encourages you to take a risk. If you want to wear something that might seem a little unorthodox, or take some risk, or do whatever you want to do, I think like this is the city where it's encouraged. It's really encouraged. Even us just recording this on the street, it's like another normal thing, I think. Where in a lot of areas it wouldn't be like a normal thing. It definitely can get super crowded, especially in the touristy areas like Times Square. As a person that lives here, I never go near Times Square. I'm never in that area. But I'd say just it can be overwhelming at times, but sticking to the good areas, like for example this area, there's not too many people walking by. It's super peaceful. We can have a conversation and both hear each other. So just making sure that before you come, going to the right areas. Don't spend your time in the tourist traps. Go to Brooklyn, go to Queens, check it out.
New York non è solo la capitale mondiale della finanza. Da qualche anno un mestiere sempre più popolare da queste parti è quello dei content creator, e proprio a New York Vinny ha iniziato a registrare i suoi video.
So I'm actually a content creator. I basically just walk around New York, compliment people, spread good vibes, or just get in random conversations.
Is New York the right place to be if someone wants to do what you do, being a creator?
I think so because it's encouraged to take that risk and go for it. Whereas in certain other areas, maybe smaller U.S. cities, if you're a content creator, you might be the only content creator in your like area. Whereas here, it's very common.